What is up, traders? Welcome to the official Trade Talk channel, where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries to help you guys become better traders. Today we're going to be discussing volume profile, the do's and don'ts, if you will. If that sounds good to you, then make sure you stick around till the end. All right, here we go. Go up to indicators for me, click on that, bring down the drop down menu, click on technicals, then it's going to bring up these, click on volume profile, then we have these. Boom. So middle. The middle one that I have selected there as my favorite is the session volume profile. Now there's this one here, the session volume profile HD is different, and the difference is that it shows smaller volume nodes. So you have more volume nodes inside of the daily range, but something to take of note is occasionally your point of control will differ on these two indicators. So I just use this one. It's simpler. It's just the one that I like. Now, the other ones are really difficult to be consistent. And in order to reach profitability, you need to be consistent. Now, I have no problem with either one of these tools, but if you're watching these videos, it tells me that you're trying to learn how to be a more consistent trader and you want to simplify your analysis. So welcome. All right, so here we go. Visible range profile. It's the worst one on the whole page, in my opinion. This histogram shows you the point of control on the range of price that you have on the chart. So if you just move this, then this changes. So how are you going to be able to be consistent in the way that you look at price if you have to have the same amount of daily candles on the screen at all times in order to be consistent? This tool is useless in my opinion. It doesn't help you in any way to be a consistently profitable day trader. Will it help you be a position trader? Maybe, maybe not. It's a very subjective tool, and what we do over here on this channel is we help you with objective analysis. All right, so let's get rid of this and let's get started. Boom, gone. All right, so here on the daily time frame, let's go ahead and pull up volume profile. Here on the daily time frame, each one of these candles is one daily range. If you are not familiar with candles or the way that I talk about support, resistance, supply, demand, I have a beginner's start here playlist, and inside of that playlist are important videos discussing key components of the strategy. Go give those videos a look if you are new. All right, so as you can see, each daily candle has its own point of control. That's because being a day trader, we take our positions inside of the daily range. That's where we operate on the intraday charts. So the session volume shows you the amount of volume traded at each price from your daily high to daily low. All right, that's very important. Let's drop down. Boom. All right, so I have this outline box a little bit brighter for people on mobile, but typically it looks a lot like that, but let's go ahead and keep it bright for now, and I will change it when we're done. Basically, this entire indicator is customizable. You can make it to fit whatever colors you want, all right, but we're going to use the stock version or the default version, if you will. All right, moving on. So each daily range is marked out by the box. Inside of this box, we have the daily opening price, we have the daily high, and we have the daily low, and we have the daily close. That's all delineated inside of this box. That is your entire day's range. There are 4 components of the volume profile. Your point of control delineated by the red line, that is the area where the most volume in the daily range traded. That's the price. So on this day here, May the 26th, we know that the majority of the volume traded at $29,578. Now, we don't know if those are buys or sells. The way this indicator is supposed to work is the blue area means buyers, the yellow area means sellers, but you can't really see that much of an edge there. So to be honest with you, I wish they would have just left this one color. It would have been a lot easier. But we do know that the majority of the volume traded there, whether it's buy volume or sell volume, that's where it is. That's important. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, you have the profile low, which is down here, this section, but it's also going to be just the low of day. Your profile high up here, again, just the high of day. And then the value area. The value area is the portion of the histogram that is highlighted. Notice how these bars or nodes down here are shaded in, and this one node up there is shaded in. That is because they are outside of the value area. The value area is just where the most volume traded during the day. That gives you a lot of different price points. But the one price that we're going to focus on, the most important, is the point of control. Another thing to keep in your mind, this volume profile's point of control will change during the day. So as new data comes in, as new trades come in, new volume, this will change. All right, it will change. So just keep that in mind when looking to take entries at an area where your volume profile is still very small, because chances are, as the day goes on, more and more volume is going to pile in. Yeah. All right. So now each one of these bars, I call them bars, but the technical term is volume nodes, is at a price point. I mean, it's not an exact price, but it's a price range, and that's good enough for us. All right. I used this tool basically to help me design my strategy. I needed to figure out a way that I could take higher probable entries so that way I could basically get my win-loss rate more suited for the victories. Because when you're losing more than you're winning, then obviously if you have terrible risk management, you're going to just keep blowing accounts. It's nice to have about a 50-50 win rate. If your risk management is tight, then you can be profitable with only winning 50% of your trades. But you should know that by now if you're even looking at day trading videos. All right, so let's do something here. I'm going to go out. Let's go ahead and drop the shaded box area down because it's not really important. As you get experience in this, you're going to start to understand where your daily high, daily lows, and all that stuff is. So you don't really need the box, but it is helpful because it shows you where the daily low, daily high is. All right, so let's go out to the daily time frame. All right, so this is the last bullish day, or the highest closing bullish day. So since price traded away from this area and started to trade lower, then that's going to be resistance until you get a daily close above it. That's going to be considered a breakout. But the way that I built the strategy is, if we go back into the hourly time frame here, I'm going to show you this. So notice these 3 days, boom, boom, boom. Now, this is the day that I clicked on. This should be over here because that is the daily close. Notice how the volume point of control is lower. That gave you a bullish pop, and that's where the close is. But another thing I want you to keep in mind is look where the volume point of control is on the next day, and then look where the volume point of control is on the next day. So what we know is the most volume was traded in this area. Notice the highlighted portion, that is your value area, meets this value area minus one bar, one node. And then this value area pretty much covers it up. So this section of price is where most of the volume traded. Now, how can we use that to make trading decisions? Well, chances are if we're at daily resistance and we're getting more volume traded at daily resistance and then price trades away from it, then we know that that was sell side volume. We know that the sellers were selling there. So if price comes back for a retest of this area, this is where we want to take our positions, our entries. You want to get short there and look for price to continue lower because it's coming back into an area of a whole lot of sell side volume. All right. And these orders, not all of them will be filled when price trades away. Some of these will be limit orders. Some of them, there's more orders. That's why price comes back to test those orders, fills them, then more sell side kicks back in again. And on this day, the sellers were setting here. So you got the expansion lower. Now, as you can see on these last 3 days, volume profile is spiking up, or it's starting to trend higher. Now, it doesn't mean that price is going to continue to go higher, but it does let us know that we could potentially look for entries down here if we have a daily level. Okay, so back out here on the daily time frame, you're going to see that we have a daily daily close right there. And per the strategy, daily closes can act as resistance, or if price is coming back into it from above the resistance, that old resistance could turn into support. So we mark daily resistance here, drop back down into the hourly time frame, and would you look at that? Yesterday and today, so far, today's point of control is right damn near almost perfectly on that daily resistance level. So up here, remember, this daily resistance point of control ended up being sell side simply because the buyers could just not get anything going. Turns into sell side, boom, you get your expansion down. So a higher probable scenario would be if the bulls can keep going what they've been doing for the last 2 days, which is nothing epic. But if it comes back down into this region, we know that it's old daily resistance. We also know that the majority of the volume for yesterday and as of right now today is traded at that region. So waiting for the price to come back, test this area, form a support zone, keep the volume getting added here, then we'll know that the higher probable scenario would be that buyers are trying to control this region. Now a big massive stab lower or a bearish rip through that region, that would pretty much negate that high probable scenario. You definitely want this to act as support. So you want price to trade into it, bounce off of it, maybe form an hourly support zone around it. Then you want to take that entry, putting your stop below another good swing low, and that's all you could do. Now you just wait and see if the trade works out or not. 50-50 is what you're aiming for. You want your win-loss ratio to be at least 50-50, and since we don't know what price is ever going to do, we have to take trades at better, higher probable areas. We're still going to get stopped out, but if you take trades based in this manner, your win rate ratio is going to get a lot better. That is a promise. All right, so let's talk about low volume nodes, because this is another don't that I have seen people do in my day. The low volume nodes is an area on the histogram typically going to be outside of the value area. It's typically going to be in your shaded portion of the indicator, and it's just an area where there's less volume. So here is where the less volume was. Now, typically what traders will do, some traders, not me, is they will target this area. So that would be like they'll basically try to get long somewhere and target this area for price to go back in and fill in that low volume area. But as you can see, even though you did get up there and test it, it didn't really fill out very much. And maybe it comes back in another time and tests it over here, but I just don't see a consistent profitable strategy that can be built based solely on low volume areas. Focus mainly on the point of control. That's where the most volume is. That's where you're going to want to see price either A, stall out, or B, continue from, if you're looking to capitalize on taking intraday trades. Because what we're doing is we're looking for the daily range to expand in our direction. Now, you will still get stopped out using this. And also, please never take entries based solely on the point of control. All right, because price doesn't react around it like a support or resistance or supply or demand zone. Notice how price traded under daily close. So that's why you have the point of control at your closes and opening prices. That's where the majority of the volume is going to be traded almost every single day. Every now and then you're going to have a case where you have a choppy inside day or a small range day where the volume profile is basically splitting up the middle of the daily range. Those days are difficult trading days, and if you try to take a short here, you got stopped out. You know what I mean? If you try to get long here, you got stopped out. It's just difficult. It's difficult. We want to see the point of control happen around the closes or the opens, down next to the bottom edge of the chart. This lets us get an idea of where order flow is heading. And right now, it looks like order flow is heading higher. But we have to be careful because we know that this is an old daily resistance level. We know that price traded here, we want the close. This is the resistance. So any unfilled orders that are still setting here with sell side intentions, if price gets up in there, you might see a bearish reaction. And if we do get a bearish reaction, we're going to look for a bullish reaction here. Now, if you don't test this first and price just fades into this area and we get a bullish entry, then this will be our target. That will be where we want to take profits if we get the expansion up. It helps you see where the majority of the volume is being traded. It helped me identify these key regions: support, resistance, supply, demand. The levels that I beat into you guys' heads, those are the levels where you want to take your entries. This is how I got to this point. Data, testing, back testing everything, and I come up with the strategy. And you can see that volume profile basically helped me to identify those areas. Now that those areas are identified, and I've been doing this for so long, you typically won't see me with volume profile on my charts. Occasionally you will, like if I'm looking at the first part of the daily range, I'll have it on, or if I have any concerns of where the point of control might be, I'll click on it real quick to see where it is, then turn it off. It's not a very important indicator for me anymore, but it was hugely important in the beginning. All right, so you guys have a fantastic day. Make sure you guys hit that like button for me. If you have any questions about this tool, just drop them down in the comment section below. Make sure you guys trade safe, make sure you guys trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.